Thank you for that very warm welcome. It's so lovely to be here. And thank you for the invitation to speak at this very exciting webinar. It is wonderful to be able to visit you in Korea. How wonderful is technology? Behind me, you can see our Early Start building, which was mentioned in the introduction. We're very proud of this initiative. Early Start is focused on children aged birth to 10, and we work very closely with children, their families, and their educators as we try and bring more equitable futures to Australian children. The everyday use of digital technology certainly influences the literacy practices of young children and their families. We know that young children learn best through playful, hands-on, engaging, and interactive learning experiences that are meaningful and relevant to them. We know too that children's experiences are organised and shaped by society. But they don't just absorb those experiences. Children negotiate and transform them based on what they learn from personal, social, cultural, and school contexts. They learn through interactions and to read and write through interactions with literate children and adults. Young children need lots of opportunities to create meaning, to negotiate, and to take risks. They do this by playing with a range of materials, including digital devices. Children have a right to play. They have a right to relax and enjoy a range of resources and experiences, including digital ones. I look to digital literacy then as the ability to learn, locate, and understand information from digital devices. I argue, though, that digital literacy is more than knowing how to play an app or how to watch a YouTube clip. To be digitally literate means having the knowledge and the ability to use a range of technology tools for a variety of purposes. A digitally literate person can use technology strategically to find and evaluate information, to connect and to collaborate with others, to produce and share original content, and use the internet and technology tools to achieve many academic, professional, and personal goals. Literate knowledge, skills, and understandings emerge through interactions between elements of the environment, artifacts or tools. And when I talk about tools, I mean digital and non-digital tools, and people. As technologies become increasingly portable, affordable, and efficient, there is real need to examine how digital experiences contribute to literacy development. I use activity theory to help me describe the dialectical relations between elements of the environment, the artifacts or tools, and people. The basic premise of activity theory is that human activity is a complex interaction between an individual and their surroundings. Activity theory suggests that the activity is also influenced by other social and cultural factors within the context in which the activity is taking place. Specifically, the triangular model that you can see describes and connects the interacting elements of an activity system. It provides a conceptual framework for understanding the relationships between 1, the goals and intentions of an activity, referred to as the object. 2, the people engaged in the activity, referred to as the subject or subjects. 3, the tools mediating the activity. 4, the rules and regulations governing the activity, the rules. 5, the environment in which the activity is taking place, the community. And 6, the responsibilities and roles of the people involved. And this is referred to as the division of labour. And you can see the interplay of each of these elements in the diagram on the screen. In 2020, Australian COVID-19 experience saw children and their families using technologies in unprecedented ways. I'd like to begin by contextualising the Australian story by using an advertising campaign called It Starts With Yes. This campaign was developed by Special Group NZ and first appeared on Australian TVs during nationwide restrictions, which included lockdown. The developers say the ad tells a story about how, and I'm quoting here, the greatest things in life come from the commitment, positivity, and optimism to say yes.
So in the kitchen there can be a massive glue.
In this 1-minute video, we see a story unfold. We see children at play in their homes. We see children seamlessly move between digital technologies, phones and tablets, and other resources in their homes, including toy cars and trucks. We see children using technology to communicate with each other, to share plans, and document experiences. We see the complexity of home environments and play and technology coexisting in kitchens, living rooms, stairwells, inside and outside, alongside working parents, and even pet animals. This is certainly what my home was like.
So in the kitchen there can be
We can think about the application of activity theory to help us understand the ways that digital technology are used by children. If we look to the advertisement text we have just examined and look more deeply at the COVID-19 situation, children are certainly using technology in unprecedented ways in this scenario. Let's delve further into the scenario we have just seen of children at home, parents working from home, and potential uses of technology. Let's start with the object. The object of the digital activity may be to entertain. It could be watching a movie, watching some television, YouTube clips, playing games. It could be to communicate with others through software like what we're using now, FaceTime or Skype. To produce artifacts, they might be writing a story, organising photos, creating video. In the video we just saw, the object of the experience was for these children to work together to enact a plan that involved conversation, experimentation, sharing, testing, collaboration, amongst many other things. Let's look to the subject. Now we know that the subject may include the child, siblings, parents, other adults, including extended family, and perhaps even educators. In the video, we saw a group of children come together and work alongside siblings, parents, pets, and ultimately work together as neighbours. Let's look to the tools. The tools that mediate the digital activity include the device and specific affordances of that technology, but also the software applications that are used during the interaction. In this video scenario, we saw a complex mix of digital technologies and non-digital technologies. Let's think about the rules. The rules and regulations are defined by individuals and groups that govern the performance of the activity. These rules may come from societal expectations, for example, knowledge of screen time regulations. They may come from what it is that the technology enables and the rules for use, for example, age restrictions on certain applications. They may also come from within the system, for example, household expectations for the management of digital technologies. These children in this video were able to operate in a context where they were able to get the job done. They had the time, the space, and the resources to be able to help them enact the idea. Let's look to the community. The community refers to the household environment where the digital experience occurs. In this case, it was 7 household environments, all within the one apartment block. The home community is informed by parents through their attitudes and their belief systems, but also their time and experience with technology. We can assume that the parents in this video were supportive of the tasks the children were working on. We saw the play activities occur within the context of other family life. Viewing the phone while having a haircut, building tracks alongside a parent working from home on a laptop. So technology use may support the daily activities of the family and what is available for use. Remembering, of course, that families had more time at home altogether due to the period of COVID-19 lockdown. Finally, let's look to the division of labour. The division of labour enables us to consider the role of each person in the scenario. In particular, we consider what each of the subjects are doing and what their specific interaction features are or may be. At the University of Wollongong, I'm fortunate to currently lead a project funded by the Australian Research Council focused on quality in adult-child interactions during digital experiences. And I acknowledge my colleagues Irina Veronikina, Stephen Howard, and our very talented doctoral student Kate Lewis. And of course, the support of friends and colleagues Susan Danby and Iram Siraj. This project aims to address the digital phenomenon with young children by investigating possibilities for adult-child interactions, as we work to really understand what is happening in home and educational settings to enable us to provide guidance for families and educators. We're also working to find ways to measure quality in interactions. Throughout the course of this research, we are working with educators, children, and their families. We are watching, talking, and listening to the challenges they face, the opportunities that exist, and trying to find solutions. During 2020 and the period of lockdown and physical distancing, children and their families had more time in their homes and often increased access to and time with digital technologies. There has been a phenomenal increase in digital experiences available to families. In Australia, these have included, but are certainly not limited to, the national public television station ABC providing school-type lessons, virtual field trips, author read-alouds, physical education lessons accessed through YouTube, and even recorded performances of theatre, dance and music able to be downloaded. Experiences have come from local, state, national and international contexts. For many of our children, the digital has certainly expanded their network and access to resources. Children and their families have accessed these to varying degrees. It has been fascinating to examine scenarios of children in their homes as they operated alongside their parents, who were also often working from home during the periods of isolation. We've looked at these periods to examine some of the ways that digital technologies were used. Here I share some images captured in one family, sharing photos and videos of activities at home, like playing with the dog, with friends and family. Video conferencing with friends and family. Networking devices and TV screens to share experiences. Creating read-alouds to share with others. I'm going to take one of these examples and use activity theory to explicate what is happening. Let's look to the child creating a read-aloud. This child used the book Knuffle Bunny, written by Mo Williams. The child created a video read-aloud that lasted about 3 minutes and 10 seconds. The child read and the parent video recorded the reading. The family are subscribed to a private Facebook group called Kids Reading to Kids, a place where there is over 2,700 members. Children are video recorded as they read, presumably by parents or siblings. The video is uploaded to the site and shared. Members to the Facebook page are encouraged to view clips, presumably with children in their households, and leave a comment or a reaction to the reading. And we saw lots of these sorts of virtual networks created during the period of COVID lockdown as people were creating and maintaining communities with those that they knew and establishing new connections. So what does activity theory tell us about this read aloud experience? Let's first look at the object. So the object of this digital activity may be to entertain, to create an addition to an archive for others to enjoy. It could also be to practice their reading, while also having the opportunity to communicate with others through comments and reactions, and we saw some of those on the previous slide. There is no doubt this was a literacy experience with quite a clear purpose. Let's look to the subject. Now, the subjects include those within the home, so the child, the siblings and parents, and also other adults and children connected through the virtual network. The tools that mediate the digital activity include the picture book, the device, and the specific affordances of the technology to capture video and sound, but also the design of the Facebook page that guides the interaction. Let's think about the rules. So the rules and regulations are defined in the home through the negotiation of a text to share and the recording of this. But rules are also enforced by those individuals within the virtual community that operate in agreed ways. For example, motivating children to read, acknowledging the author and illustrator, and being kind to the readers. or rules that were published on that site. These rules provide a supportive environment and audience for children to share their reading abilities. So who's the community? The community is both the household environment where the recording of the reading occurs, but also the Facebook virtual community where the reading is shared and commented upon. So then if we think about the division of labour, this enables us to consider the role of each person in the scenario, the role of the child, the role of the parents, the role of the mediator of the Facebook site, and the roles of members to the site. If we think back to the images shared of that family, we could analyse each of those instances in the same way. And I would love to, if only I had the time. This afternoon, I have used activity theory to help us understand the complexity of digital experiences as we look to the relationships between and among the home context, the affordances of the digital resources, and the potential for interaction and literacy learning opportunities. Activity theory provides a theoretical perspective to contextualise the different environments children participate in, the actual environments and the virtual environments, to help us understand the interactions that occur between subjects and the tool and artefact, and how this supports children's digital literacy practices. So when we look at the potential for technology to mediate interactions, connecting with others, communicating, body language, image, written text, emojis, the collaborative activity, including creating and sharing tools, these all enable a focus on digital literacy and look to what the affordances of digital technologies may be for children, their families, and educators. And I believe the more we can understand the ways in which digital technology is used by children and how this is shaped by the social context, the better we will understand the relationships between the home context, the affordances of digital resources, their potential for interaction, and digital literacy learning opportunities. Thank you.